Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the coin and welcome to your latest Chelsea transfer news. Yes, the transfer window is open for all clubs that are participating in the Club World Cup, and it's between 1st of June till I believe the 10th of June. The competition begins on the 16th of June. Correct me if I'm wrong. So for everyone that's participating there, the window is now open momentarily. And then I think 6 days later after that, from 16th June onwards, it's going to be open for anyone anyway. So look, from now till the 10th of June, it is potentially going to be a bit mad because most clubs will try and bolster their team in order to be well equipped for this Club World Cup. People are going for it. This is a huge trophy. This is not your Mickey Mouse trophy anymore. Well, I don't want to call it Mickey Mouse because that was the last time I saw Chelsea lifted, live. Well, the first and the last time was the last time we won the Club World Cup. I don't want to call it Mickey Mouse, would be Palmeiras, but this Club World Cup, what is happening, definitely makes that Club World Cup look like a Mickey Mouse one, because this Club World Cup, ladies and gentlemen, is only going to happen once every 4 years. It's the club, all the big clubs, or not the big clubs that have won stuff. I don't know exactly how they come up with the decisions of who participates. Definitely, it's the clubs that win the Champions League. Definitely, it's clubs that probably win their respective leagues. I don't know exactly how they come up with the decision who participates. I believe it's 32 clubs, I think, or 48 clubs. I'm pretty sure it's probably about 32. So I'm not entirely sure exactly how it all happens, but the clubs will be going for this trophy 100%. PSG have won the Champions League, and their president, Al Khalifi, has already declared, we're coming for the Club World Cup. We need to win it. Club World Cup winner, ladies and gentlemen, will get more prize money than the Champions League winner. So this is a serious level of trophy that is up for grabs. There is supposedly $1 billion worth of cash prize available for this huge event that's going to happen very, very soon. So for clubs like Chelsea Football Club, for other clubs that are participating, this next few days is huge. We already know the Liam Delap news that's happening today in terms of his medical. The announcement probably will happen sometime either tomorrow or today. I don't know exactly, but Liam Delap is in the bag already. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, centre backs. Marc Guéhi's picture, as you can see. There's another name that's been thrown around in recent times. So I haven't seen it from proper sources as yet, but some of the in-the-nose people have been talking about is Everton's Jared Braithwaite. Braithwaite. He's a good defender. He's definitely a very good defender, but I haven't seen any sources, a legitimate source, talk about it. However, Marc Guéhi, ladies and gentlemen, is a name that has been thrown around for a little while now, and I still believe it's probably going to be Marc Guéhi. And slowly, you know what? In the beginning, when I saw this rumor, and obviously he's an ex-Chelsea Academy player, there's always a nice feeling when an academy player returns back to Chelsea Football Club. Makes you think, well, why did we even let him go? But sometimes you got to let them go to develop elsewhere, because it's not possible to develop everyone. And when they do shine elsewhere, why not? If they're good enough, then fine. At first, when we did get linked to Marc Guéhi, it didn't fill me with a lot of joy or a lot of confidence. It still doesn't, but I have to say, look, he's going to be turning, I believe, 25 in July this year, and he does have now quite a lot of experience, I have to say, and he's done well at Crystal Palace under Oliver Glasner. He's still not the needle mover type of a defender that we're looking for, because when you look at all the defenders, I'm going to go through all the defenders as well, right, and figure out who deserves to stay, who definitely deserves to leave. When you look at all the defenders, we don't have any outliers. We don't have a particular defender that you can say, we build around this defender. This guy is going to be a powerhouse defender. And Marc Guéhi, when you think about his name, he's not someone who gives you that feeling either. That is a marquee, that is a needle mover type of a defender. But look, he's still a very good defender. Aerially, maybe that's an issue, but it's an aggressive defender. He's now, you would have to say, he's Premier League proven, definitely Premier League proven. A couple of years now under his belt in the Premier League with Crystal Palace, maybe more than a couple of years. So look, let's have a look at the latest news that's coming up for Marc Guéhi. Chelsea are thought to be considering an attempt to bring Marc Guéhi back to Stamford Bridge. Coming from this source. What's the name of this source? Let's have a quick look at this. Ed Aarons, football writer, Guardian Sport. Okay, fair enough. Look, this, as I said, plenty of sources have talked about Marc Guéhi. Plenty of people have talked about Marc Guéhi. Now, few things we have to first figure out. Does this make sense? Probably. Well, we do need a centre back. We have good relationship with Crystal Palace. We've given them Chalobah. Chalobah then returned back. We've given them Ben Chilwell just recently. So there is a bit of a relationship there with Crystal Palace. Obviously, we've given them Marc Guéhi as well. And look, Marc Guéhi, being that Chelsea academy player, English background as well, I think there's always a push for this type of players to come back to Chelsea Football Club. So the deal in itself, the rumor in itself, it's not far-fetched. It's not like something you look at and go, do you know what? No, I don't think this is possible. No, this is definitely possible. Now, when you look at our defenders, who can we say, all right, these defenders need to go? Who can we say these defenders that can stay and build a good partnership with Marc Guéhi? Personally, look, before we even get into that, Marc Guéhi is a particular defender. I'll be honest. It's definitely not my cup of tea, but maybe you can build something. Maybe you can definitely build something with Marc Guéhi along with someone like Levi Colwill. So let's go through the list, right? Let's go through the list. I would keep Chalobah, but I don't think we're going to be keeping Chalobah. I would personally keep Chalobah, but I think Chalobah is potentially going to be sold. And who knows, maybe back to Crystal Palace, right? So Chalobah is not going to be around. Looks like Tosin will probably be around as a rotational player, as a squad player. Maybe I don't mind that. Levi Colwill definitely is sticking around. Benoit Badiashile, I think you've got to have to part ways with him. Desasi, you got to part ways with him. Wesley Fofana is a huge question mark with his injuries. If there is suitors, you're probably going to part ways with him. Anselmino, you're looking at potentially giving him a loan move. Any other academy players that we have right now in centre-back position? Probably not. Achapong is one that you should be looking to grow, but you just never know. Is there enough spot available? So look, Levi Colwill definitely has been penciled down, you would say, as one of the mainstays. And then after that is a huge question mark. Do you put Tosin? And Tosin probably isn't going to be good enough for next season in the Premier League or in the Champions League. You can definitely have him as a rotational player, but he's not going to be someone who's going to help us, pursue for the Premier League. So maybe Levi Colwill and Marc Guéhi, England international as well. Marc Guéhi, I don't know whether he's been selected for England under Thomas Tuchel. Maybe he has. Maybe both Levi Colwill and Marc Guéhi could produce that centre-back partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts. Jared Braithwaite's name is the other one that I said has been thrown around. No concrete sources have talked about this, but who would you guys choose? What would be your CB selection? Me personally, look, if you've got some level of Premier League experience, fair enough, I want to give you a chance, but I wish we went with a lot more experience. I wish we went with a defender that has done it at the highest level. Like you look at PSG with Marquinhos, someone of that ilk, like a Thiago Silva sort of, caliber of defender. But I don't know. I don't know who's really available out there, but looks like we may be rolling the dice with Marc Guéhi, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know your thoughts about this move. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea have been monitoring Alejandro Garnacho's situation. This rumor will not go away. Look, as much as I don't want this to happen, this rumor, it's not going away. It really isn't. He's definitely finished at Man United. There's no two ways about that. Ruben Amorim, we've seen publicly, all the news have been out there, in front of all his teammates. He said it, Ruben Amorim, that Garnacho, you better pray that you can find a club in this summer. And we're looking for a winger. We're looking for opportunities. We're linked with Jamie Gittins. We've been linked pretty heavily with Garnacho as well. I don't want him one bit. Is he still, potentially going towards Napoli? Antonio Conte is still staying there, and he could fancy someone like Garnacho. Look, I hope he goes to Napoli, and I hope we are not anywhere close to getting Garnacho. Yeah, these are the things that kind of bother me, man. Moving into next season, Champions League football, Premier League, we want to battle at the highest level. We should be looking at big wingers, man. We should be looking at Rodrigo. We should be looking at proper big time wingers, Garnachos, and this. Like, even as I said, even with Marc Guéhi, like defenders, we should be looking at bigger names and people that have done it at the highest level. But that's just not how we operate. That's not how we operate, and we truly believe in how we operate. And look, PSG has kind of shown us, right? PSG has kind of shown us, but this is where I feel like the huge difference maker is with us and PSG. PSG have got Campos, Luis Campos, as the sporting directors. We've got a couple of sporting directors that they have not done really anything at the highest level, right? So you got Luis Campos and you got Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart. Then you got Luis Enrique. You got Luis Enrique. Yeah, he's a proper manager. Twice he's now done the treble. This is no joke. Luis Enrique is a proper manager. And we've got Maresca, who's developing. He's a rookie manager. And for his first season to get Chelsea Football Club into the Champions League, that's big. And big up to him for that. And let's see how he continues. But there's vast differences. You've got Al Khelafi, the president of PSG, and even the ownership of PSG. They've been dying and desperate for the Champions League, and they finally got it. Do we see that level of desperation with our ownership? So you can see the manager is a bit of a mismatch. Sporting director is massive mismatch. And the ownership. Are we desperate to win huge trophies? PSG are. So that is the biggest difference, that the way they are building their project with youth as well, but they're going with youth that have good, solid experience, man. They're good players. We're going with youth that are not always good players. Some are, some not so much. Garnacho is one of them that we definitely need to stay away from and think about something else. If this guy comes to Chelsea Football Club, oh my God, that'll be the end of me. That'll be the end of me. Chelsea have previously shown an interest in Benjamin Sesko and could try to get involved if they miss out on other targets. Looks like we are going to go with two strikers. And you know what? I don't mind that. I don't mind that. That would mean Nicholas Jackson's time's over. And that's, look, as much as it kind of makes me a little bit sad for Nicholas Jackson, I've always thought there's a player there. It's just he hasn't really worked on his flaws. We all know Nicholas Jackson's flaws, but those flaws seem to just stay as flaws. They're not going away. They're not improving. There are other parts of his games that has improved, no doubts about that. And maybe Nicholas Jackson, maybe he's over it as well. Maybe his time at Chelsea is now done. So if we find the right suitor, we'll let him go. So which means two strikers. And the thing about the two strikers that I've always said, it's going to be two strikers that are going to be developing as well, which once again makes it difficult. Look, we have a lot of players that now you can say, okay, they're probably out of their development phase. And then you can probably now put them in the category of, okay, they are experienced. Like, for example, Reece James, you can say, yeah, experience. Caicedo, you can definitely now start saying, yeah, he's an experienced player. Enzo Fernandez, you can start saying he's an experienced player. And Cucurella as well. And there are probably a couple of more. So you can't fully look at this team and go, okay, well, they're not experienced. There is now, you can definitely say that there's a bit of experience available, but you don't want to just consistently keep developing, especially in the striker position. You got to add, that's my belief. And I know it looks like we're not going to do that. Looks like we're very adamant in getting, well, obviously we're getting Dilap, who's a very good talent, still needs development, but looks like the secondary striker that we're going to get. And it's not really even secondary striker. It's a striker that's going to compete directly with Dilap. And you know, it gives us options. It gives us immense options for the starting lineup and also from the bench. You want to have strength in both the areas, not just your starting lineup, but from your bench as well. That if the starting striker faults and doesn't deliver, then you have someone that we can rely on. So, but it looks like both of those players are going to be a developing type of player. Dilap is still developing. Sesko is also still developing. The other name that we are linked with is Ekitike, is also developing. So the bottom line is, this is what's going to happen. We're not going to get your Osimhens. We're not going to get your Kyrgioses. Those names, I think we can definitely keep aside. We're going to be looking at these type of strikers, and potentially these transfers, all of these transfers could happen within the next 10 days, because Club World Cup will take good part of till middle of July. And then you don't really have that much time left till the new season starts. So you want to make sure that you get the business done nice and early. Look at the way Liverpool's moving. Very early, they're trying to do the business. Manchester City are trying to do business very early as well. Man United is trying to do business early. You want to try and do business nice and early, and you know, get yourself ready for the next season. I don't want to go into next season undercooked. I really don't. So whatever business you're doing, make sure you do the right positions and not just look for opportunities anymore. You know, last summer was a disaster. The likes of Felix, likes of Renato Vigas, and many more. Let's not have that. Let's concentrate on where we need to bolster, where we need to upgrade, and let's do the right type of business. And if you're not going to get the experience, then get talented youngsters that you know can make a huge difference, that have some level of experience already. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts about everything. How you feel about the defender, Marc Guéhi? Do you think Marc Guéhi can potentially create a very good partnership with Levi Colwill or whoever else that may stay at Chelsea Football Club? Let me know your thoughts about the upcoming transfer window. What would you like to see? Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Till next time, take care. See ya. Bye.